What's good, everybody? It's your boy Server Error 405. This is the Final Four sports program. I am very excited. We finally got this together, and we're Final Four right here. This is it. When you want to know anything about sports, this is the place where you got to come to right here, Final Four. First, we got repping the Hertz #1 beanie, the happiest man in Philadelphia until I go to the next guy. We got Prince Dior. What's good, man?
What's up, guys? What's going on? Just so excited for the Super Bowl coming up. So proud of this team. Just so proud of all the players and I mean the coach. Every the coaching overall just been great. Shouts out to the city. Shouts out to you guys. Thanks for having me. This is going to be really fun. I've been looking forward to this. I know we've had some scheduling conflicts between us all, but we finally did get it together. So God is good. God is good every day. Um, yeah, man. Yeah, I'm the happiest man in Philadelphia. Ask me
Yeah,
again after next week.
we'll
You know,
find out. All right.
yeah.
So now the other happiest man in Philadelphia, repping all the ice, staying icy, just chilling. He's got his brown bottle with him, living up to every stereotype. We got Dre. What's up, Dre?
Yo, what up, big dog? What Nick Sirianni say in the press conference? How about my quarterback?
How about
How about
him?
my quarterback? How about him? All I
we're
He
gonna
got,
we're
all
already,
I
I'm-
got, all
we're
I
gonna
gotta
we're gonna
say,
already shaking his fucking head, bro.
all I gotta
Already
say
doing it.
is go fucking birds.
Birds, baby.
Okay, so we're gonna get into that here shortly. And now the happiest guy, the happiest 45-year-old man I've ever seen. This man is on cloud nine because he still believes Michigan is a good football program, even though they had the season they
All
did.
right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got Bray Dallas.
$3 is 45, y'all.
First of all, Michigan football's back next year. They beat USC, by the way.
I
Just
don't
gonna throw
remember.
that out there. And also, nobody's watching the Super Bowl next Sunday. We're all watching the Puppy Bowl.
Well, I'm definitely watching the Puppy Bowl, but that comes on before the Super Bowl. All right,
Oh,
so speaking of the Super Bowl, we were definitely gonna stream or not stream. I'm so used to streaming. We're gonna record last week and talk about the Final Four in NFL. You know what I'm saying? But scheduling conflicts. So now I want to kind of merge the two because we're gonna go with our Super Bowl picks. But how do you think that the Eagles and the Bills fared in their championship game? And you can kind of move into how you think the Eagles and Chiefs are going to work, kind of incorporate all four.
let me tell you something, server. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I guess I'll just, we'll go in order of how we introduce ourselves. Personally, I was not expecting the Eagles to run over the Commanders like they did. I was expecting us to win. And, if we would have gotten upset, I was expecting that could be possible. But I was expecting to win. I was not expecting to absolutely obliterate them. And that was something that made me really happy because, Commanders fans talk so much shit leading up to that game because they beat us last time and this, that, the third. But we got our get back. We move on to the Super Bowl. Personally, I got to give credit to Jaden Daniels. He's a great quarterback. He is going to be the future of that franchise. Get him some weapons, get him some more people around him. He's going to be the guy, trust. And you could see them back in this position again. That is an unbiased opinion of mine, 100%. And a lot
Well,
of those other guys, Frankie Louvu, these guys are dogs, man. So it's not going to take anything away from the Commanders, but hey, man, what about those Eagles? And I think that you asked me about a prediction. I think they go and take it all, man. It's
okay.
not going to be easy. Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs are not people you could really fuck with in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, especially. But I think that the Eagles team is just a little bit hungrier for this for a lot of reasons.
So Dre, what do you kind of go piggybacking off of that? Like you pretty much obviously agree, Eagles fans, but what do you see? What do you see different, with this Eagles team compared to when they lost a few seasons ago?
So glad that you asked me that. I'm so glad that you asked me that. What I see differently is the defense. The defense is the number one ranked defense in the entire league, and we had at least 12 turnovers in the past 3 games. We had 6 against Washington, 6 takeaways against the best rookie quarterback in the NFL. None of them were his fault. I would say none of them were his fault, but when you go up against the defensive presences that he has to go up against, he has to go up against the Jalen Carters, the Milton Williams, the Jordan Davises, the Zach Bonds, the Quinyon Mitchells, Cooper DeJeans, Reed Blankenships, CJ Gardner Johnson. When you have to go up against a defense like that, it's not easy to prepare for because we're hitting at all cylinders. When we went against Patrick Mahomes 2 years ago, we didn't have the same presence on the defensive line. Granted, Brandon Graham's still here, Jordan Davis is still here, but the defensive presence wasn't the same. Now it's a totally different ball game. Now that we have a ball hawk of a linebacker, Zach Bond is defensive player of the year for sure in my eyes. Quinyon Mitchell is defensive rookie of the year for sure in my eyes. And we have both of those guys flying at all cylinders, not missing a beat. I don't think Patrick Mahomes has been against a really battle-tested team besides the Bills in the regular season, but when they went up against the Bills playoff-wise, I think Josh Allen just miscued on a lot of things in that late fourth quarter run where he tried to come back and bring them back into it. But I do predict the Eagles winning 34-23
Okay.
en route to Saquon Barkley getting Super Bowl MVP.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Now, I know someone who doesn't agree with it and more interested in watching the Puppy Bowl. Bray, what do you think about those two takes right there?
Well, first of all, I don't see. As much as I want to see I would like to see somebody knock off Patrick Mahomes. It's not going to be the Eagles. It's not going to be the Eagles this time. I think it's all there. This is probably Andy Reid's one of his last few seasons as a Chiefs head coach. It's probably Travis Kelce's last few seasons, and Travis Kelce's been quiet this playoff run. I wouldn't be shocked if Travis Kelce has one of these games where he just goes off and he lights up. Also, I think at some point one of these, I think DeJean is pretty overrated. I think Xavier Worthy's going to put him on scorched earth next Sunday, and I think Patrick Mahomes is just going to win this game, and Patrick Mahomes will be a Super Bowl MVP, and they three-peat, and that's it.
You could predict like a higher scoring game? Do you see it being close, low scoring defensive game?
I think it'll be close, probably 34-27, that range.
Okay.
Probably in that range.
I think it's going to be like that. I think, what did you say, Noah? What was yours?
34-23.
Yeah. It's going to be in that same kind of score, regardless of who wins. That's going to be like the score. So if you have like the Super Bowl numbers at your office pool and you want to get something similar to that, pull for that. I personally think, just kind of piggybacking off of what Bray says, Kelsey's been quiet all year, not just in the playoffs, all year. And I had him for fantasy, and I got rid of him. After a while, it was just nothing. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs win the championship and he retires, because I think he's done. Him and his brother are doing so many different commercials and TV shows, movies and stuff. He's not really like that interested. See, every time I mention the Chiefs in this household, my son's a Bronco fan. He gets upset and he starts crying. So as you can hear in the background, he's just a mention of the Chiefs as a soft subject. Sorry, son. Got to talk about it. But anyways, long story short, I think that the Eagles will win. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be kind of the similar, like 32-27 or 35-24, something like that. And I think it's really going to be judged in the fourth quarter. I think mistakes will be made early for both teams, even though the Chiefs have been there, very experienced. Mistakes happen. So I think the Eagles are going to make some good plays on defense. I think they're going to get to Patrick a little bit. And I think that's going to play a big factor, that defense. So Barkley, I think, is going to run all over him. I think he has a good game. If he starts off great, it's going to be a wrap for the Chiefs. They can't match that.
I think that Barkley decides the game, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He has a bad game. It's going to be very tough.
It's hard to like branch away from saying, because usually in this conversation we'd be saying Patrick Mahomes decides the game. No. I literally think that Saquon Barkley decides the outcome of the entire Super Bowl.
Saquon decides it.
It's that crazy.
Or the defense. I mean seriously, and I want you to keep in mind when we talk about this defense. This defense came out of absolutely fucking nowhere. This is a built defense by the genius of Howie Roseman. Okay. It's not like these guys were like, it's not like he went and signed a bunch of superstars. These are
Yep.
guys who were just doing okay to mediocre job elsewhere or got drafted in, or veterans we just had for a while.
Right.
Like a mixture of all that. That's how you build a team. These
Yeah.
guys can these guys can turn the ball over almost at will. I watched the mic'd up stuff on YouTube, and like these guys will be on the sidelines like, let's go get a turnover and get it.
Yeah.
Punch the,
I think
you
that's
know,
a big key. The defense and Barkley. Barkley more than
yeah.
anything else, because if he can't, I mean, it's going to be a new experience for him. So he might be the guy that gets maybe has a fumble or something in the first quarter, something dumb. Maybe it's a bad handoff or just not, it is what it is.
Hijinks, Super Bowl hijinks that would never
Yeah.
happen all year. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just dumb shit. Like what the
Yeah.
fuck? But I think that he's the type of player that will, overcome that. And I think his mind's right. I think he's ready. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I think the
He's been
Eagles
at it
Eagles
for
will
a
win a
long
close game.
time. He's been at it for such a long time, and he was sick of wasting his career away. He was this close to just being a complete bust, and why, but not even
Yeah.
his fault because
No.
he was carrying the Giants, and
Yeah.
they did nothing to build around him. And then they disrespected him by paying Daniel Jones all that money, and he ain't even playing there.
Yeah. That's the
No,
that's the one thing. Like he really got a bad rap in New York. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like he really was just a great player. He just needed to be on a good team that really can appreciate and use him correctly and actually be a contender. Because the Giants weren't doing nothing for years. You know what I mean? They're just being
right after
garbage.
that, beat Tom Brady twice. That was it for them. That was it.
Now, Bray, did you say who do you think's going to win?
The Chiefs.
The
I
Chiefs.
think
Okay.
I think it's unfortunate. I don't want the Chiefs to win, but I just think it's the likely outcome.
Did you say who you think's going to get MVP?
Patrick Mahomes.
You think Mahomes gets it? Okay. So speaking of Super Bowl MVP, and the whole season of the NFL is coming to a close. Who do you guys think is going to be the NFL MVP for the season? I know this is a hot topic, Bray. I know you love to talk about Josh Allen and everything else. You still think Josh Allen will get MVP?
Yeah, I mean that's the only right answer. It's Josh Allen. I mean, if Joe Burrow, the only other answer I think is if Joe Burrow were to have had a better record, it would have been Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow literally led in everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only
And
reason he's not winning.
yeah, and if Saquon would have broke the record, I think it would have been to him, but he didn't. If he doesn't break the record,
Dre,
it's the
what do you
same thing. Ashton Genty didn't break the record, and he wasn't able to get the Heisman. So Barkley didn't break the record.
I feel what you're saying 100%. Totally feel what you're
I
saying.
agree. I agree.
But like you got to look at how efficient Saquon has made the Eagles. We literally were going to be a below 500 team had Saquon Barkley not shown up on our doorstep this year. We had DeAndre Swift last year, who still broke for 1,000 yards, and we got to the first round and got knocked out. Saquon Barkley comes in averaging 5.8 a carry. He has 2,000 yards. He's got 345 rushes, and he's got, 13 rushing touchdowns? He's top 10 in almost everything that he does. If Saquon Barkley doesn't get over 100 yards a game, we lose. It's statistically proven. Every single time he hasn't gotten over 100 yards, except for against the Steelers, we've lost. Saquon Barkley literally is the heart and soul of our team. If you pull Saquon Barkley away, the Eagles don't make the Super Bowl. Granted, if you pull Josh Allen away from the Bills don't go to the conference championship. So it's really a toss-up. And I have stats right here to prove Josh Allen. Josh Allen is only top 10 in passing touchdowns in his QBR. His QBR is a 77.3, and his passing touchdowns is 28. That's tied for 7th in the NFL.
Noah bringing the stats. Look at that.
I have to bring the stats when you talk about Saquon Barkley, Josh Allen, because Josh Allen is a generational talent. We'll probably never see another quarterback like Josh Allen in years to come because of what he literally is Superman for the Bills, but also is Saquon Barkley as well.
Yeah, the thing I have about a guy like Josh Allen is like, as good as Josh Allen is, regardless, he's a quarterback, okay? And I'm just kind of sick of the MVP being a quarterback's award. I'm just over it. Even if it doesn't, because quarterback, they do this shit all the time. There's gonna be a quarterback. So I understand that, like, okay, the quarterback's the leader of the offense, is the captain. But I think that my problem is that the MVP should go to the most valuable player. And I think clearly this year, even without the record, Saquon Barkley has been the most valuable player in the NFL. Now, don't get me wrong. don't get me wrong. That's not to say Josh Allen isn't playing great. That's not to say Joe Burrow isn't playing great. But all in all, Saquon Barkley made, just like Noah said, he's a game changer. When you have a running back who can hit home runs at will, practically, that's a game changer. They don't even make them like that. Was all this yap about Derrick Henry and who would be the better running back. I think Saquon has proven he's the better, at least this year.
Now, who do you
I mean,
think? Do you think that Josh is going to get the MVP? Do you agree with that? Or
I don't think that Saquon's gonna get it. He should, but I don't think he's gonna get it. I think that Josh Allen will probably get it. If not, Pat Mahomes is still in it, right? No.
yeah,
Not
I mean,
playing that well.
it's not as
That's
like
what that's what fucks me up.
finalists. I think the finalists are Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. That's who it was. I don't think it can go to. They're not going to give it to Lamar again. They might, but I don't think they're going to. I think it'll probably go to Josh Allen personally. Yeah.
I think with the voting, I think it probably will go to Josh Allen. Even though I feel like Saquon has had a generational season. Like this is probably one of the best running back seasons I've ever seen in like
He broke the mold.
history.
He's got people. Now I'm not gonna fuck around and say this. I might be saying it depending on how next year goes, but he has people saying that he's now the best running back of all time because
I
of
wouldn't.
this shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Dude,
go that far.
I've got people talking about he's the greatest Eagle to put on a jersey, and he's
Yeah,
only been
I
here
mean,
for a season.
I mean, but you know how everyone gets. It's about the here and now, and that's just how it is. I'm not gonna go that far as to say he's the best running back of all time, but if he puts up another maybe 2 seasons similar, you can probably say that.
I don't know. I don't know. It's tough to match what Barry Sanders did.
Dude, I love Saquon to death, but like I think Barry Sanders is like the
Barry
greatest
Sanders
running
is
back to touch
definitely
a
the
football
best running
ever.
back of all time. We can all agree there. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Barry's that dude. So
And he did it with a horrible line too. At
Yeah,
that. Like,
yeah,
we got a
yeah.
great
Barry
line.
did
Barry did it
I've
with a horrible
argued
line.
I've argued this to so many people. Yeah, that's why I always say, and we could actually do a whole podcast about this, but Emmitt Smith is the most overrated running back of all time.
Yes.
Oh my
Because
God.
if you put
Thank
Barry
you.
Sanders behind that line, Barry Sanders would have broke every record known to man
Yeah.
easily. So that's we can
Yeah, I
have
mean,
that
watching
for a whole
footage of Barry
episode.
Sanders is just embarrassing for defenses, dude.
Yes, very embarrassing. Now
I'm
speaking
like,
of
these are grown men.
speaking of the speaking of the Cowboys, now they hired somebody. I don't even remember who the guy's name is. Who the Cowboys
Ryan
hired a head
Schottenheimer.
coach.
Ryan, yeah, something.
Ryan
Yeah.
Schottenheimer.
Whatever his name is, he got hired, and to really not a lot of fanfare. Normally they're talking a lot about it. It has been a minute since they hired him. I think it's been a couple weeks or whatever. But a lot of people were speculating that, maybe Dion might leave Colorado, go to the Cowboys, coach them up, bring his son, draft his kid. So now that the Cowboys are set there with their head coach, do you think that was a good idea? Or do you think they could have went with Dion? Or if you have another hire that you might throw in there? We'll start with Noah on this one, since Dior was taking a sip.
You know what? I don't think that they should have, because I mean, Dion literally solidified his name for the HBCU community. He solidified it at Jackson State, and then he said, "You know what? I'm going to take on a bigger task and bring some fame and notoriety to Colorado." He's even taken it a step further, and he's actually recruiting Marshall Faulk to be his offensive coordinator for Colorado.
My
Remember
guy.
who Marshall Faulk was?
Oh yeah, that was my guy.
Great, one of the
San
greatest
Diego
running backs
State.
ever.
Mhm.
Exactly. Greatest show on turf. Boom. So I think that he's really trying to bring his name up in the college football world. And I think it'll last maybe a good 5-6 more seasons. And then maybe when that time is coming in the NFL, I think he'll get that call and then he'll move up into the NFL. But right now, I don't really think he needs to. I think he's trying to solidify his name as a powerhouse school in college football, which he last season, they went 9-3 when they were just like 4 and like 10 or something the year before. Like he's showing that he can win. He's got a great quarterback coming in as well. I think that Dion made the right decision not to come to the Cowboys.
Okay. Bray, what do you think about that?
Well, I don't think Dion should have ever even been up for the job. Dion hasn't done. He is. Dion is the most overrated coach in the game right now. I'll just say that. he congrats. Colorado beat the mid teams of the mid. They beat as mid as it gets. When the competition got not rough for them, they disappeared. And so be it. But like he has to prove it. He has to prove it at Colorado. He's got all the NIL money. He's got all the funding. He's got everything there. If he can't do it at Colorado within the next couple cycles, he's got a good recruiting cycle coming in this year. If he can't do it soon, he should just pack his bags and go home.
Okay. DR, what do you think?
Yeah. Here's the thing, man. I think the only reason Dion would have even went to the Cowboys is if he could get the guarantee that he's going to coach his son. There's no guarantee that that's going to happen at all. I know a lot of people like to say, "Oh, well, he's going to." I don't think that he will be able to make that type of thing happen. So I think that he does stay in. I think that he made the right decision if he's going to continue with this decision for an extended period of time and staying in college, stay in Colorado, build that school up, prove who you are, because you have a lot of critics, you have a lot of people who don't like you. Bray is like one of the big and you have something to prove, as much as he might think, because we know that Dion has an ego. He might not think he has something to prove, but he does. So
Right.
I think that, the people will get into his ear and say, hey, you should probably do this. It'll be better for your career, instead of just jumping and doing something. Let the Cowboys have their little shitty coach that they have now that no one knows.
Right.
And
Yeah.
like, I need them to suffer for a long time, because they put the rest of us through a whole lot of shit for a lot of years. So I need them to suffer for a little bit. But
I think you're gonna get. I think you're gonna get your
college.
wish.
Huh?
I think you're gonna get your wish, because the Cowboys, they don't look like they're improving anytime soon. So I
Nah,
think
they're not. They're
this
not.
season
Well,
was kind of a
They're gonna
preview of
lose
how
a
bad
lot
they're
of
gonna
their. They're
be.
gonna lose a lot of their great players before they gain more great ones. Put it that
Right.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I personally think that, Dion would have been a good choice for the Cowboys if they would have picked him up. Mainly because it fits the whole like vibe the Cowboys used to have in the 90s. Like, he's a throwback player. He's very outspoken. They need some sort of attention because the Cowboys aren't really getting talked about as much because they're not that good anymore. So you're kind of like, reaching to find a topic for the Cowboys. And this was like, this is a
Mm.
reach because they got a new head coach. And I personally thought it would be Dion. I figured that he was just going to leave Colorado high and dry and just get a big money deal. And, Jerry Jones would be happy. Even though they wouldn't win, they'd probably be in a worse situation, than they are with the guy they currently have now. But, since he doesn't have any NFL experience, but I personally think Dion, and I posted this in the Discord server. I think I tagged you guys in it. The greatest thing that Dion did was splashing Tim McCarver with that
Yeah.
water. I
Yeah. I've never
hated.
seen that before. I've never seen that.
Oh, it's the great when it
That was
happened. It's
really
all they
cool.
could talk about on Sports
Yeah.
Center. It was
That
the
was really
greatest thing.
cool. I was
I
watching a
hated
lot of
that
stuff
guy.
with Dion. There
but
was like
you're
a
a
lot of
real
stuff I was
class
watching
act,
with
Dion.
Dion.
Yeah, never forget
I
that.
was watching where Dion was checking Skip Bayless for calling Troy Aikman gay. Like, there's like
Oh,
Dion was
bro.
a character, bro. Like,
Dude. And if you ever want to see something funny, another guy who I can't stand is that Joe Buck guy, the announcer.
Oh,
I can't
geez.
stand Joe Buck. He had a show on HBO called The Joe Buck Show. And one of the he had Artie Lang. I don't know if you guys remember him. He's a
I know, yeah,
comic,
I know you're already lying, yeah.
Howard Stern show.
yeah.
Had him, Jason Sudeikis, and Paul Rudd. They were all on at the same time. And the
It's a unique
entire
group.
time, Artie Lang is just roasting Joe Buck. Just fucking roasting. So it's on YouTube. It's worth watching the entire thing. You'll laugh your ass off the whole time. Joe gets a couple shots in, but I just loved how he laid into him. Like, it was fucking hilarious.
I can't even front, bro. I'm probably one of like the biggest Joe Buck fans. Like
Really?
Joe Buck on
Joe Buck.
commentary. And then
Well,
him and
because
Aikman on commentary. They satisfy my needs. They
Aikman's
do.
okay. I don't know. I'm more of like a Gus Johnson type of guy. I
Yeah,
like
but
Gus Johnson.
we ain't getting just back, man. I wish we could.
Man,
Shit.
How
that's
do
my
you
guy.
guys like Tom Brady on commentary?
He's
He's
horrible.
okay.
He's
He's
found
okay.
something that he's bad at.
That bad,
He's
bro.
bad, bro.
he got better throughout the season, but
Yeah,
they, it's kind of shitty that Fox just moved on from Greg Olson like that because I
yo,
thought Greg Olson was
facts,
great.
bro. Like
Yeah, he
Greg
got a
Olson
raw
was
deal.
perfect. He was perfect on there.
Greg Olson was good.
And I grew up, I'm an old guy, so I grew up with fucking John Madden and Pat
John Madden,
Summerall.
nigga.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
remember
mean?
John Madden.
Yeah, like Madden and Summerall. That was it for a
dude, and
football
Yeah.
game on
they're
Fox.
And my,
separating.
so I grew up on Michaels and Madden.
Oh
Al
yeah, Al
Michaels was
Michaels.
on it.
Yeah, he was a
I
good one too.
Michaels was he's had good moments. I think now I think he's kind of getting at the end a little bit with his commentary. I don't know.
Yeah,
I,
I remember like, being a big Dodger fan, just seeing like Vince, listening to Vince Scully. You could tell when it's like it was time, like he's getting sick. You got to get him off the air. I think
yeah.
Al Michaels is getting like to that point. A couple
He's
more
yeah, he's
years.
he's he's on his way out. They're actually separating Tony Romo and Jim Nance after the season too. They're not going to do
Good,
commentary together.
good.
Okay. Well,
I
now
don't know. I like hearing that Tony Romo. He's like Jim.
Tony's actually a
Uh,
low key good commentator.
yeah,
he
Tony's
is.
not bad. Even though he's
He's
a
actually
Cowboy, I
good.
was like, I'm not
No,
mad at it.
he's not bad. He's pretty good.
He's actually pretty good. And I mentioned
Well, I'm
L.A.
telling you, man, the Cowboys make better commentators than they make players.
Hopefully, Dak does the same thing.
Yeah, Dak needs to take his bald ass over there.
So I mentioned L.A. So since we're on the topic of LA, again I'm numb by this massive NBA trade. Luca
Yeah.
Luca goes to LA. Anthony Davis goes to Dallas. Like I'm in shock as an LA fan. I'm extremely happy. We clearly got the better end of the deal. We got one of the best players in the league. Just having him and LeBron playing on the same fucking team, and it's not an all-star game, like just blows my fucking mind.
I'm trying to figure out what the Mavericks were smoking on.
I don't know.
What
So,
I got it. The niggas from LA must have sent some LA weed. They
They
laid
so
came to
I
us though. That's the
I
crazy
did, yeah.
part.
I was gonna say I
that they
did read
laid.
up on it. I
Oh, they
did read
came
up
with
on it.
all.
So the reason why that the Dallas Mavericks traded Luca, they actually approached LA about it because
Hmm.
Luca was going to make $345 million on a supermax contract this year had he had the supermax. They're frustrated with his conditioning in practice and how he handles himself on the court as a conditioned basketball player. So they said that they didn't want to move forward with Luca, so they'd rather get rid of him than pay him all that money. That way they can spread it through Anthony Davis and anybody else that they want to pick up through free agency.
It's a
That's
horrible
crazy.
trade, bro. I don't
That's
care.
Horrible trade.
crazy.
To say
Terrible.
that Luka Doncic is not conditioned is absolutely absurd.
Get the fuck out of here.
Absolutely.
In
I wish they
LA,
would have. I wish they would have
we're gonna
said that
love
for.
him,
I
bro.
wish they would have gave us Luca for Embiid. Fuck.
Oh,
No,
geez. And Embiid needs to, he just got to retire at this point,
That's like
man.
trading for a
Done
ham
with that
sandwich.
fucking clown, dude. I'm done with that clown. I
Dude,
can't.
he's missed like 40% of his career
Bro,
games, bro. There's
I'm
I don't
starting.
know.
We're
47%.
starting to,
Yeah,
bro. We're starting to
dude, it's
feel.
insane.
We're starting to feel about him how we felt about Ben Simmons. It's time to
Oh,
get
yeah,
him
I'd
the
say
fuck
so.
out of here.
Yeah, that
It's
process
over.
is over with.
That's one thing I notice about Philly fans is that once football season's over, y'all get real quiet until the Phillies start doing some shit. Because the 76ers leave you
Dude,
guys
Yeah.
it's
so
it's so
heartbroken.
funny, right? So I
And
had
they
my
go
one of
to
my
fucking
coworkers,
playoffs every
right?
year.
That,
One of
That's the
my
that,
fucked up part.
yeah.
coworkers, we're Eagles fans, diehard. She went to the fucking she went up to Philly for the conference championship and whatnot, and she said she was on Broad Street at like 9 p.m. after the game was over and whatnot. Paul George is out there driving his car through Broad Street, but can't lace up for a fucking basketball game, bro. Disappoints me beyond to the core, bro.
That's crazy.
Disappoints me.
Bray, what do
Yeah.
you think? What do you think of the trade, Bray?
Damn.
Well, I don't think the Lakers are done. That's what I've read is that the Lakers aren't done. They're going to make another move, and it's probably going to be Miles Turner. That's what the big thing is. It's probably going to be them getting a big man.
I heard it was him or Clint Capella. That's what I heard.
But Luka and LeBron, you get a big man in there. Goat James is getting his fifth ring, and then after that, look, you can't deny it. You can't deny
Don't
what
call
will be
him
there.
Goat James, dude. Don't do that.
I
Come
mean, this is an ongoing conversation, and I'm a non-believer of LeBron being the GOAT because mainly I don't knock his talent. He's one of the greatest ever, clearly. Like
Yeah.
no one ever
He's
knocks his
lost in the
talent.
finals like 18 times with like 9 different
Oh,
teams.
But here's the
only
problem I
6.
have though. Here's the problem I have. Why I won't call him the GOAT is because he's went to the finals too many times and he didn't win more. He's lost more.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you can't say he's the GOAT when he's lost
But
way more than he's won in the finals.
but I'll put this. He's playing in those 10 finals. Not one team that Jordan played in the finals is better than any of those 10 teams LeBron faced.
But that's speculation. There's no facts with that.
Oh, I mean,
Because you're asking to go through, in a time machine and then you're like it's just so
yeah,
subjective to say this
but
player is better than this person. Well, this guy sucks,
but
you know.
Jordan didn't play against, like Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and Kawhi Leonard. He didn't play against Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Kevin Durant.
Neither did LeBron.
He did play
LeBron,
against Shaq and Penny Hardaway.
I mean, LeBron struggled for years, like in Cleveland. Like he struggled.
look at what was around him in Cleveland.
I'll say this. I don't think LeBron is the GOAT, but I do say that LeBron has probably had the hardest path to go through any NBA player has ever had. He came straight out of high school, had to save his team, save his towns back by going to Cleveland. Pressure's on him, a number 1 pick. He has to win. If he doesn't win, they're just burning jerseys. They're ready to kick him out of the city. And he still somehow manages to get them to the finals. They lose, ends up switching teams. And then he goes back to the team that he ultimately got drafted to, brings them a championship after 50 years of nothing. Still gets shit on, goes to LA, goes into like the hardest atmosphere of basketball, which is the bubble. Hardest basketball ever played I've ever seen. Wins a championship in that, and somehow is still in what, year 22 hooping.
I mean, he's definitely playing really, really well.
I'm not saying he's the GOAT, but I'm saying he had the most difficult path of any NBA player. Nobody's had it harder. Nobody.
Well, I look at it like this. We got a few minutes left before we have to wrap it up and Zoom shuts the lights off on us. But until LeBron, like for me, LeBron will have to win another couple championships. That's for me. A couple. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing you don't understand, Bray. Here's the thing you don't understand. Michael Jordan three-peated twice
With the Bulls.
Bulls.
Well, in that case, I mean, Bill Russell had 11 and 13 seasons.
Stop it! You always do this, Bray. Stop bringing up Bill Russell.
Then
how many did John Havlicek have?
How many did Robert Horry have?
Robert Horry's got a 7-piece. He's got 7. He's got exactly.
Robert Horry
Steve Kerr's got like 7 too.
Yeah. You can look at all these guys that didn't even play. They get a ring. They sit on the bench and they still get a ring.
I mean, bro, we want to talk about some winning players and coaches, man. Phil Jackson is up there with the best of them. He got one with the Knicks in '73, and then he got him with the Bulls, Lakers. You know what I'm saying? So, bro,
Phil Jackson's a GOAT.
I think he might be one of the GOAT coaches ever.
And here's the other thing, Bray. I have a good friend of mine. We debate not just who the GOAT is between Jordan and LeBron. We debate between Jordan and Kareem because he insists Kareem is the greatest of all time. He says he's the greatest basketball player because if you add his college shit, Lou Alcindor days, along with how he played in the NBA, I mean, it was a tough debate because when you look at numbers and stats and shit, But with all that
remember,
said,
bro,
I think Shaq's the greatest center.
Kareem won a championship and the MVP his rookie season.
Yeah,
with Oscar Robertson on the Bucks.
See, and I think he's one of the greatest, but I still say Shaq's the best center because he's just more physical and strong. I say Shaq is probably the most dominant center. I think that the best center to ever play is Hakeem Olajuwon. Ooh, I don't know about that one. That was a tough one. Over Patrick Ewing? I think Patrick Ewing was always better. I thought Patrick Ewing was better than Hakeem.
Wait. No, I don't think that Patrick Ewing is better than Hakeem Olajuwon.
I don't know.
What about Wilt?
Well, here's my problem. My problem is like if he was playing in a different era of ball.
But it's Wilt if you count the fake 100-point game that never happened.
We needed Bray. We needed like a younger guy who like trolls just a bit, bro. Like we
Yeah.
need him for the Final Four, bro.
Take
We
a
need
hundred
him.
grand.
He trolls like Jared trolls like wrestling, how he
I
says
Yes,
think
bro.
AEW's the
I
best,
love it.
and
I
it's
love it.
clearly
I'll
not.
never
But we
believe.
need Bray. We need
I'll
Bray.
never believe the 100-point game happened.
We need
There
it.
will never be anything that shows me the 100-point game actually happened.
Why? Because there's no footage.
No footage. I mean, we have footage of Babe Ruth hitting baseballs and all this stuff, and from like the 1920s, we have World War footage, but we don't have anything from like the 50s. And
Hey, don't forget
come
that
on.
moon landing that we did.
Well, the moon landing was also fake,
yeah.
but that's a different story for a
That's a
different
different
show.
podcast completely.
Different podcast.
All right,
I feel
so
like
we literally got like 2 minutes. Real quick, I'm gonna go around. Now that football will be over, what are you guys gonna be watching? What's the main sport you're gonna be watching? Dior? Quick 30 seconds.
football because you got UFL and
Oh my God. All right, enough. All right, Dre, go ahead. Dre, what are you gonna be watching?
I'm most likely probably gonna watch. You know, I'm a Celtics fan, so like I watch a little bit of Celtics, but
Fuck Boston.
mostly I'm gonna be watching WWE, bro.
Okay.
Yeet,
All right.
yeah,
Bray.
WWE for sure.
yeet.
Baseball starts in March. You also have March Madness in March. The NBA is about to heat up with the All Star break, and then you still got UFC. Don't sleep on the UFC.
My boy Adesanya got knocked out though.
And boxing's still here.
Boxing's garbage. Don't
Yeah,
even put boxing.
Bray's not a
in the
big boxing fan. He's not really
It's
into
garbage.
that.
It's garbage. How do you
What do
like
you
boxing?
mean, bro? The biggest fight ever is coming up in
first of all,
September, bro.
Yeah.
boxing is somewhat garbage now in certain senses, but it's definitely not a garbage
I mean,
sport.
It just depends on the fight. That's all it is. They had
I mean,
big money fights like at least
Yeah, but
twice a year. So that's
yeah, but
pretty much it.
yeah. Congrats. We get to watch Canelo and fucking Terrence Crawford go 12 rounds and
Bud.
fucking
And
and then it's gonna
Canelo's gonna knock that man out.
The
They're just
problem is, young bulls don't got no attention span.
We'll save
Y'all
that for the next podcast. We'll
Yeah,
save that for the
say
next
that for the
podcast.
next one.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate everybody for being here and doing this. We got a minute left. I want to say shout out to you guys. It's finally great to have the Final Four together and doing the first show. I really love it. I can't wait to drop it later on today. And also check me out. Look at the podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Also join our Discord. We're going to have the link in the description. And we'll see what happens at the Super Bowl. Go Eagles.
Go Birds!
Oh, fucking birds, dickhead.
No!